perspective, we probably would have been at a disadvantage. I think looking down from up there, down this way, wouldn't have had the same picture. So I think he's very smart that way.
The ones he picked seem to be very, very steep.
Yeah, they are. They're, I don't know how the Chinese figured they're ever going to get up there, because it is steep. I couldn't even climb it today, I don't think.
So when did you know the Chinese had arrived?
This valley was full of refugees and soldiers streaming south. Just hundreds and hundreds of people, and they're going as fast as their little legs can carry them, and we're still here, and you're saying, holy Christ, what are we doing here?
You could see the bodies, and they were just absolutely terrified. They were wanting to get out of there. They didn't care how. They're walking, running, they're on trucks, they're hanging off the side, anything that's moving. And you really start to think about what's going to happen when your turn comes.
And that road was just full of people, and when the Australians pulled out, they honked their horns and did all that stuff to get people to move out of the way, but if they didn't get out of the way, they just ran over them. And people were trying to climb on the trucks, and the Australians were beating them off with their rifle butts and stuff like that.
So only the Patricias are blocking the road to Seoul?
Only us, yeah. We're the only ones left. And I think Stone made it pretty clear that when we were put up there, he wasn't going to go backwards. He was going to stay. He was stay or die.
As 20,000 ROC soldiers retreat southward, tens of thousands of Chinese troops pursue them, flooding the Kap'yong River Valley. Now all that remains between the communists and the road to Seoul is the 700 men of the Princess Patricias. This is your position over here. This is the back of B. And right. You guys are up at the top there, looking out over the river valley?
Yeah.
What did you see?
Chinese troops coming down in formations, you know, like 6 abreast, walking down the road like they're out for a Sunday walk, but at a double trot. It was like the Roman legions coming down the road. And these guys are coming on like nothing was going to stop them. And we, you know, wondered if we could, I guess. I kind of forgot what my thoughts were, but I think I was scared shitless just looking at them. And I think that we realized we're in for a good fight before the night was out. Waiting is the worst part of it. You don't know where they really are until they get up real close. I can remember firing my rifle, and I don't even know what I was shooting at, because it looked like there was so many, I figured I couldn't miss anyone. I don't know how they managed to make those guys keep going. Just that part right there is so steep. My God, how did they get up there? Or how did they think they were going to get up there? But they sure as hell tried.
We are climbing up to the top of B Company's position to see if anything remains of the battle. It's very steep and there are no trails, so I doubt any Canadians have been up here since 1951. This is the high point of B Company's position. It's right on the crest of the hill. And you can see here that there's slit trenches all over the place. So I guess it would be like a 2-man slit trench. Of course, it would be a lot deeper then. And they can mount their Brens on the top here. But what's amazing is how steep this hill is. I don't know how the Chinese would have got up here. They'd have to crawl up tree to tree. So you can see how the men could have rolled the grenades down or just kept the pepper fire on them. One of the problems with the Chinese was that they were very quiet. They had rubber shoes, they had cotton uniforms. They were very good at infiltration techniques. So often, even though the terrain was so difficult, they could surprise people. However, on the 24th, 25th of April, they weren't able to surprise the Princess Pats. and they really took it to them as they tried to force their way up these positions. But as the Chinese infiltrated, men further on the ground took care of them. There was a lot of heavy machine guns mounted on half-tracks down in the valley. Stone's strategy for the defense of Kap'yong is simply brilliant. One of his best decisions is to locate his half-tracks mounted with 30 and 50 caliber machine guns behind B Company's position. With the men manning the machine guns is Lieutenant Hub Gray.
It's an eerie sight. 500 men advancing towards us and not a discernible sound from any of them. It's as though we are watching unheralded ghosts intent upon harvesting their prey. I alert the men manning the 8 machine guns, telling them not to fire until I give the order. Their leading formation is about 40 meters short of the crest. After what seems an eternity, I order the machine guns to open fire.
We could hear when they cut loose with the machine guns down there. I'm sure they lost probably 4/5 of those people. A 50 caliber machine gun is, you know, it's about as big as your thumb. You go through 4 people before it stops. Take your head right off. Out of your sight, and after dark, you can't see. You just hear the noise over there. You really don't know what's going on. You hope it's all good. And of course, it turned out that most of it was.
We're on the peak of the hill that was B Company's position. This is one of the slit trenches, and here they fought off the Chinese attack on the night of 24-25 April 1951. But while this attack was going on, the Chinese were going to launch another attack against D Company on the hills right over here. This is the Kap'yong River Gorge, and at this point, part of the communist forces split and went off to the left to attack Canadian positions at A Company, or particularly B Company, and a second group split off in this direction to try to take out the positions up on the heights over here. And some of the fiercest fighting took place at D Company's position right on that knob up there. The men are located on all the high points, and really, if the Chinese want them, they're going to have to come up and get them. While the Chinese attacked the positions at B Company, another wave of communists sweep west and attack up the steep ridges leading to the Canadian positions on Hill 677. The Chinese realize if they can take the position on the heights, the whole Canadian line will collapse. So we're trying to find a route up to 677, and so far we haven't found one, but this looks promising, but it's very, very steep.
저 위로 올라가는 길은 산으로 더 올라가는 길은 아예 없는 겁니까? 여기서 이제 등산로가 가들기라고 저 꼭대기라고 저 백등리 종족단이 가는 데가 있고요. 등산로가. And only from here there is a small trail walking up to the hill. So
Like up there?
you cannot drive. So from here you have to walk over.
This is one of the ridges that leads up towards 677. It's one of the few approaches that the Chinese could have taken. But if I'm one of the Chinese soldiers at this point, I'm thinking mutiny. This is an incredible hard climb, and I still got another couple hundred meters to go before I'm even going to meet the Canadians. And you can see how hard this would be, but you're talking maybe 50 men versus maybe 300-400. So the odds are stacked against the Patricias, but the terrain is in their favor.